January 1st, 2022. A Chinese Pokemon researcher by the name of Wokann uploads an intriguing video to YouTube. A new way to gain access to the Mirage Island with the Pokémon Spinda. Along with it, he releases a guide, as well as a tool for showing when a specific pattern of Spinda will trigger the Mirage Island. Instead of relying on pure luck, we finally had a reliable way to access Pokemon's rarest location. February 2nd, 2016. A Bulbapedia user by the name of Shiny T-Rex dives into the Mirage Island. In the 9 years since, Shiny T-Rex has been fixated on discovering the secrets of Route 130. During an average playthrough, the route is nothing special. Honestly, there's too much water. Even a 7.8 would be generous. Yet, for around 1 in 10,000 players, a mysterious island would appear before them. An otherwise unremarkable location in a game from the early 2000s is home to one of the most obscure secrets in the world's biggest media franchise. I've taken this young Rex's obsession, learned from Wokann, and developed a way that you too can make your way to the Mirage Island in Pokémon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. My name is Shiny T-Rex, certified professor of Pokémon, someone with a gem mine's worth of Hoenn games, and you've just entered the Brofessor's Lab.
Rex's Pokédex.
So, what is the Mirage Island? Hidden away on Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald's Route 130 is an island, inhabited entirely by wild Wynut ranging from levels 5 to 50. In a normal playthrough, everyone surfs through Route 130 to get to Pacific Town. So, why has barely anyone actually seen the island? It's not like it's small or anything. The reason is, the Mirage Island's appearance is programmed to be very, very, very uncommon. Each day, the game generates a new number between 0 and 65,535. For each Pokemon in your party, there is a 1 in 65,536 chance that their Pokemon ID, or PID, will trigger the appearance of the island. If you're lucky, the island appears for the day, and you can find it as you surf through Route 130. The game hints there's something out there. There's a crazy old man in Pacific Town that spends all day, every day, staring longingly out his window, waiting for the Mirage Island to appear.
Harold, are you just gonna stare out the window all day?
You have to understand, honey. I swear there's something out there.
But Harold, you've been staring out the window for 16 years!
To go into more depths on the mechanics, the daily Mirage Island number is stored as a 2-byte integer. To see if the Mirage Island appears, this number is compared against the final 2 bytes of the PIDs of all Pokemon in a player's party. Even with a party of 6 Pokemon, the odds of the Mirage Island appearing on any given day is just 1 in 10,932. For most players, the island is something that existed exclusively as playground rumors or pictures in game guides. Even if a player were to check every Pokemon on a full save file, that is, 426 Pokemon each day, it would still take an average of 154 days to find the island. Despite very few players stepping foot on the island through normal gameplay, there are a few ways that fans have hunted for the island in the past. Pauly D. Oregon hunted for the island by checking in with the old man in Pacific Town with each of the Pokemon in his box. Even if there isn't a matching Pokemon in your party when you boot up the game, if a Pokemon that matches the Mirage Island number enters your party, the island will appear without having to reboot the game. So, running back and forth between the Pokemon Center and the old man's hut, they would check to see if any of their Pokemon would trigger this island. And if not, wait until the next real-life day to try again. After over a year of hunting, and 100,130 Pokemon checked, Pauly's hunt required talking to the old man over 16,000 500 times before he could finally catch a glimpse of the Mirage Island. Other hunters tried catching wild Pokemon, checking to see if they had made the island appear, and if not, resetting and trying again. Though this is a hunt that is still 8 times more difficult than looking for a full-on shiny Pokemon. I actually gave this method a go over on our Twitch channel and while I was in Sweden back in 2022.
Raise them up for them shiny Pokemon!
Though, all I ever found was a shiny jellyfish.
Oh! Yo! I got a shiny Pokemon.
Many have tried this hunt and eventually given up, including myself. Though, after seeing Gen 3 Hunter successfully get the island to appear, I knew I wanted to step foot on that secret shore someday too.
Oh my god! Mirage Island! Mirage Island, we got it! We got it! There it is!
But first, let's jump back to the research done by Wokann. The random number generated each day for the Mirage Island is actually highly predictable. In fact, every save file in existence progresses through the same Mirage numbers over their lifetime. Personally, I had always known that the Mirage Island number starts at 0. One of the very first videos I ever made, all the way back in 2018, was a guide on how to use RNG manipulation to find a Pokemon whose PID would match and unlock the island.
Hi guys, Rex here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to RNG for a Pokemon that will always cause the Mirage Island to appear.
Though I didn't know that on a live battery, the number on day 2 was the same for every save file. Then the same on day 3, and 4, and 5. So let's take a step back. We know that the Mirage Island bites are predictable. So what was Wokann doing with Spinda? According to the Pokemon Super Deluxe Essential Handbook, as Spindar stabbers and totters around, as Spindar stabbers and as Spinda staggers and totters about, it has the mistaken impression that it's walking straight. Each Spinda's spot pattern is slightly different, and collectors appreciate the variety. Wokann wasn't too concerned with Spinda's drunken demeanor, but instead the different spot patterns. You see, from generations 3 to 5, Spinda's pattern is calculated by its PID, making it extremely easy to determine its PID at a glance. Wokann came to the realization that the top 2 spots on Spinda's head correspond directly to the number checked to see if the Mirage Island appears, and this could be used to predict when a given Spinda would unlock the Mirage Island. So their tool allowed you to discover exactly that. For example, 5 days after starting a new save file, the Mirage Island number will always be 3,498. So, a Spinda with top spots that look like this will trigger the Mirage Island for any save file on the 5th day. You see, there are 256 different positions for each of the top 2 Spinda spots. So, there are 65,536 combinations. If we wanted to find a Spinda that would trigger the Mirage Island on one specific day, we would be searching for a Pokemon that is over 8 times rarer than a full-odd shiny. By no means is that impossible, but if we expand the search, there's a much simpler solution sitting right in front of us. When shiny hunting Pokemon in Generation 3, the odds of any one Pokemon being shiny are just 1 in 8,192. But if we hunt on 2 systems at once, the odds of at least one being shiny is 1 in 4,096. The odds of finding an individual shiny don't change, but the multi-hunting method increases how many shiny checks we get per set of encounters. When we're shiny hunting with 33 systems, the odds of finding a shiny goes from 1 in 8,192 per encounter to just 1 in 249 per set of encounters.
Shiny Chansey! Shiny Chansey! That's a shiny Chansey!
We can apply the same logic to the Mirage Island by searching for more than one specific day. Depending on how long you're willing to wait to step onto the island, we can reduce the time we need to spend looking at Spindas dramatically. Well, the odds of any one individual Spinda triggering the Mirage Island on one specific day is 1 in 65,536. The odds of any one Spinda triggering the Mirage Island within the first year is 1 in 180. That's because we're looking at 365 different Mirage numbers instead of just one at a time. Every Spinda we check can do almost the same work as checking a full box of Pokemon. Now, no matter how you cut it, getting to the Mirage Island is a task that requires huge amounts of patience. But checking one Spinda is definitely faster than running back and forth to the PC 30 times. What I've put together for you cuts dozens of hours of grinding and talking to old men down to something that can be done in just a couple hours. If we head out to Route 113 and step into the ashy grass, we can get started. Once we encounter a Spinda, we want to know if it will trigger the Mirage Island. Using Wokann's tool, we would pull up Spinda Painter and find the final 2 bytes of Spinda's PID based on where its spots are located. Then, copy-paste the PID into his tool. Personally, I found this to be a tad time-consuming and not super feasible on mobile, so I made a couple tools of my own. At first, I generated a PDF of every Spinda that would trigger the Mirage Island in the first 365 days. When I set out to search for the Mirage Island myself, this is actually the tool that I used. Though, later on, I came up with a much better idea. After writing up some quick JavaScript, we had a web page that could do our searching for us. But really, all I made is a big list of Spindas, so how would you quickly be able to tell if the Spinda pattern you found would be able to trigger the Mirage Island? To speed up the process, I made a way to classify Spindas at a glance. All you have to do is squint real hard and follow this classification guide. The classifications come in the form of a 3-letter code. First, we start with the gender, M for male, F for female. Next, we look at our left spot. There are 8 different spot codes that I've come up with. We follow down this list and we code our Spinda based on the first true statement. We have C for center, which is any spot filling this entire yellow region. H for hiding, which is any spot with less than 10 visible pixels. D for down, which is any spot with at least 1 pixel in this orange region. B for both, which are spots that have pixels in both the blue and red regions. R for right, which are for spots with pixels in the pink region. L for left, which is for spots with pixels in the green region. U for up, which is for spots with pixels in the blue region. R for right, which are for spots mostly contained in the cyan region. And L for left, which is for spots mostly contained in the purple region. Finally, we have I for invisible, which is just any entirely invisible spot. Honestly, if you find a Spinda with this though, best you just move on to the next one. After getting the code for the left spot, we simply repeat for the spot on the right side to get the 3rd letter of our code. Since the bottom spots correspond to a portion of the PID that doesn't interact with the Mirage Island, we can ignore them entirely. For example, this is the day 233 Spinda. It's male, has 1 spot that entirely fills the yellow zone, and 1 that includes both the blue and red regions. For this, we would search for MCB. Then we quickly skim through to see if any of our results match. If we're lucky, we have a way to access the Mirage Island after waiting that many days. If none of the results match, we just go back and find another Spinda. Now, my original PDF was limited to just the first year of Spinda, but by writing some code to help us identify every Mirage number Spinda, we can search much further out. If you wanted to do this hunt on a save file that you already have built up and your battery is still working, we can actually do that now. You can chat with a scientist in Moss Deep to see how many times they have launched rockets. 1 gets sent up each week, so we can use that to figure out how old your save file is. Alternatively, if you happen to know exactly when you made your save, you can just tell our tool how many days ago that was. After finishing up my original web tool and guide, fellow Pokemon researcher Zach Beast looked things over and recommended a modified version of Spinda Painter for finding the day a Spinda would trigger the island. So after quickly writing my own little Spinda Painter tool for just the top 2 spots, and making sure it actually works on mobile, we had another way to see if the Spinda we found would trigger the Mirage Island. Now we can classify the Spinda and search for a match, or match up the spots and see when the island would appear. With a clear path forward for getting myself to the Mirage Island, it was time to try this out for myself. In January of 2025, I stepped into the ashy grass with my Spinda PDF and got to work. With the goal of finding a Spinda that would trigger the island within the first year of a new save file, we ran back and forth looking at spots. It was actually much faster than I anticipated, and honestly, it was a super fun hunt. So the hope here is, instead of having to look for 65,000 Pokemon, we individually kind of look at the spot patterns on hopefully about 200 Spinda is all it'll take to find one that would trigger the Mirage Island within the first year. Once you find that Pokemon, you just take a note down, and if you have already started a save file, guys, oh, I think we just did it. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we just did it. Day 144. Oh boy. Yeah. So effectively what this Spinda will do is, after 144 days after starting a save file, the Mirage Island number will be 53D2. In under 3 hours, we managed to find a Spinda that would trigger the Mirage Island on day 144. But here comes the single biggest drawback of the method. Instead of booting up the game every day and having the immediate gratification when the island finally appears, when we find our Spinda spot, we have to wait. But you know what you don't have to wait for? Other videos on the Professor Rex YouTube channel. If you hit subscribe now, you'll get them recommended to you as they come out, or you can check out the backlog. So make sure to click that button. I created a fresh save and set a reminder in my phone's calendar for June 9th, taking into account that the game would treat January 16th as day 0. If I had been using a pre-made save, we would just subtract the number of days since the save's creation, and then set a reminder that far in the future, giving myself some leeway to check for the week around that date in case we only know the save's age based on rocket launches. After soft resetting for a Quill Trainer ID, I kind of forgot I needed to play through the rest of the game in order to actually get to the island. Now, in my defense, a lot had happened in that 144-day wait period, and the Mirage Island just wasn't the #1 priority. You know, I released our Pokemon Rumble video, went to LA for the Unova tour, picked up our dog from Texas, played Pokemon at the movie theater for my birthday, grabbed Pokemon History in Montreal, won 100 championship points at the Milwaukee Regionals, got stranded in Indiana when my car broke down heading home from the Milwaukee Regionals, and broke my hand in Boston during PAX. So there were good reasons that there was no progress made on getting to Route 130 for the first 138 days of our wait time. But with time ticking down, I needed to get things rolling. On June 3rd, I traded my starter, gave it a few levels on a different save, and traded it back, and then speedran the game on the drive home from New Jersey Go Fest. Before I knew it, the big day arrived. And while I was at the hospital waiting to get my cast switched, the old man saw something. Something I had been waiting to see for nearly a decade. Cheryl, you gotta believe me. You gotta believe me, it's out there. It really is this time, for real.
Oh, Harold, it's always Mirage Island this and Mirage Island that. I'm over it. I'm leaving.
After surfing to the island, there was still one major leg to my journey, though. As far back as 2019, I've drooled over the thought of finding a shiny Wynut on the Mirage Island. It is literally a dream team Pokemon for me.
The baby Wynut, man. Little baby
Wynut.
Wynut from the Mirage Island. I love Wynut.
Oh, shiny Marowak boss! Oh my
Oh
god!
man,
Dude,
dude, we got it.
The baby Wynut, man. Little baby Wynut from the Mirage Island.
After getting some encounters done at the hospital and getting a purple cast for good luck, I went home, took my game's battery out, and put it back in to stop the Mirage Island from disappearing, and prepared for a hunt that I honestly didn't expect would actually be finished before this video came out. I wasn't interested in just any old Wynut. No. There is a Wynut that is entirely exclusive to the Mirage Island. There is no other location in the entire Pokemon franchise where wild level 5 Wynut can be found. And I was going to put mine in a Master Ball. Something impossible to get with breeding. Impossible to find in Swarms or Dynamax raids. Even in Pokemon Go, Wynut has never been available in the wild. So, a shiny level 5 Wynut in a Master Ball is one of the rarest Pokemon possible. The only problem is, it has a measly 5% encounter rate, making it a 1 in 163,840 spawn. As the lowest level on the island, there aren't any repel or intimidate checks that can help us out either. For the average player, finding one would be nothing more than a pipe dream. With only a single copy of Pokémon Sapphire, I'd be looking at a hunt that could take over 500 hours on average. Luckily, the lab is full of mad science, and we've developed a way to shiny hunt a single save on multiple systems. Pokémon Box for the Nintendo GameCube allows players to boot up their game through adventure mode. After getting the game going, we can actually take the disc out and unplug our Game Boy Advance. If we wait for a minute for the game starting seed to change, we can then boot everything up on another system. So, what is it that makes Pokemon Box our game of choice when we're trying to shiny hunt multiple copies of Ruby and Sapphire at the same time? Well, what a lot of people don't know about the GameCube game Pokemon Box, which allows you to store your Pokemon on your GameCube, is it has an adventure mode, which allows you to play your save file from Pokemon Ruby or Sapphire on your Nintendo GameCube, or if you happen to have a Wii with GameCube ports, on your Nintendo Wii. What we generally do is we boot it up on our Wii shelf, or if you want to boot it up on your Wii shelf at home, you can totally do that as well. So, in Pokemon Box, there's two different options. You have Go to Pokemon Box or Go to Adventure. When you select Go to Adventure, what you're able to do is connect your Game Boy Advance to your Wii or GameCube using the GameCube to Game Boy Advance link cable. Once you power on the system, the cartridge that you're using is going to upload the save file directly to the system. And what's really cool about this is once the game loads on the Wii or the GameCube, the system doesn't need the disc or your Game Boy Advance connected anymore. So we can turn the Game Boy Advance off, unplug it entirely, plug it into another system, and we don't even need the disc. So one copy of Pokemon Box allows us to play on as many systems as we want. So, you know, if we wanted to do all of the Wiis on the Wii shelf and the Wii kiosk and the Wii shelf too, we can totally do that. Now, there is one prohibitive part, which is the cost. There's not really any great ways around that, but the European copies tend to be a lot less expensive, or Japanese copies. And this is how we're going to use one Mirage Island to shiny hunt Wynut on 8 systems. On my first day of hunting for Wynut, I wanted to use this cool stream layout I had made back in 2022. So I booted up 8 of our Wiis in adventure mode, and with a set of Wavebird receivers and a single controller, we were ready to hunt. My hope was to find at least one shiny during our first day of hunting. I was going to consider any level of Wynut a win. Though, honestly, I just haven't been very lucky recently, You know, the broken car, the broken hand. When things were passing odds, I just wasn't feeling like today was going to be the day. Things just weren't looking great. With a clean shaven face, I actually need to shave every day, right? With the beard, I no longer need to shave every day. There's some value in that, honestly. Also, I haven't seen any of my IRL friends since I started growing the beard. A couple of them don't have social media at all. So we're gonna play D&D next week. Oh my goodness! No way! Are you serious?
Oh my goodness! No way! Are you serious?
Are you actually joking right now? That is ridiculous. Dude, first shiny on the Mirage Island, like 60 over odds, is the level 5 shiny Wynut.
1120?
Dude.
What the heck? Let's go.
Let's go. Level 5. Oh my goodness. That's right. After just 8,240 encounters, my dream shiny showed itself. 1 in 163,840 odds meant nothing to me. Every unlucky experience over the past 2 months had built up to this. Probably one of the craziest moments I have ever had as a shiny hunter. The only way to get a level 5 Wynut in the wild is in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire on the Mirage Island. You can get one in a Pokeball from hatching it from an egg, but a level 5 Wynut in a Master Ball is guaranteed to have come from the Mirage Island. There's literally no other way to do it because you can't breed and pass down the Master Ball. Also, it's a really good match ball.
It is a good match ball. You throw a Master Ball?
1, 2, 3.
You caught
No
it.
way, we caught it.
Caught it. First ball.
Wynut was caught.
First ball.
Oh, first ball, that's insane. Wynut's data was added to the Pokédex.
Hell.
Wynut, the bright Pokemon. Wynut gather on moonlit nights to play by squeezing up against each other. By being squeezed, this Pokemon gains endurance and is trained to dole out powerful counterattacks. After watching the band Glass Animals play in New York City with my good friends Keely and Ray the week before, their song Heat Waves was fresh on my mind. A song coincidentally named after mirages. So, on a late night in the middle of June, on an island that I had dreamed of getting myself to since I started my journey of Pokemon research in high school, there it was. The shiny level 5 Wynut. And the Heatwave song, and they talk about, so in that song, they talk about the fake water all across the road. That's what it is.
Right.
Dreamland, named after one of my favorite albums of all time, had joined the crew. From being one of my first YouTube videos to being one of my favorite shiny hunts of all time, the Mirage Island has brought me so much joy. And I hope that some of you will use the tools Wokann and I have made to find a little bit of joy as well. Regular Wynut and shiny Wynut. Oh, chef's kiss. With that, the dream team is one step closer to being finished. To make sure you're here as we collect the rest, catch that subscribe button. And if you want to see the journey it took to get some of the others already on the team, click here. And if you want to get to the Mirage Island yourself, check the guide in the description below for the most up-to-date version of how to do it. Wavy Davy is lonely.
Aw,
He's
not anymore.
lonely because he had to hang out on the Mirage Island for 10 years waiting for me to finally come catch him.